everyone, it's Hailey, and today I really wanted to kind of go through my bookshelves and do a massive purge, to be honest, because I feel like I'm at a spot where my reading tastes have really changed recently. You may have noticed that quite a bit in recent years, but I think it's taken me a while to kind of accept that. I've never been the kind of person to like define myself as one kind of reader. I know what I like, but I also know what I don't like. And I just have always read whatever I want to read. I've never I can't really force myself to read something, which made school and actually being an English major really hard, because if I have to read something for class and I'm not in the mood for it, I just can't do it. Like, I'm 100% a mood reader. I have to be in a certain mood to read certain things. But lately I've kind of realized that my tastes have very much changed. And I mean, that makes sense. They've changed a lot since I started this channel. And once again, that makes sense because I'm definitely not the same person as I was when I started this channel. That was 7 years ago now, and I've changed a lot since then. So it only makes sense that my reading taste would also change a lot. With all that has happened in the past couple of years, I definitely have been very introspective, that's the word that I was looking for, but I've really been looking at myself and what brings me joy and what doesn't, and trying to cut out the things that don't bring me joy. I've kind of been on this mental health journey, and honestly, reading has been part of that. So part of this video today, I'm going to be going through my shelves and kind of doing a little bit of a purge, getting rid of the things that I realistically really don't think that I'm going to read. And I'm going to do what I always do when I do a book unhaul, which is I kind of keep them in purgatory, or like they're sitting there basically downstairs in my basement waiting, and then I'll go through them again eventually. And if I go through it and I'm like, no, I actually do want to read that, then I will read it. But if I have forgotten about it or I'm not interested in it anymore, then it will go permanently. So I am excited for this actually. I think it's going to be really fun. Like, my TBR has gotten extremely overwhelming, especially in past years, because I kind of just stopped caring, really. Like, I used to try and keep it reasonable, but I just have stopped. But now I'm kind of in a spot where I want to keep it reasonable again, because just because I want to read something now doesn't mean like I'm actually going to want to read it in the future, if that makes any sense. Basically, I've placed these massive pre-orders, and then when the book actually comes in, I'm like, do I actually want to read it? So I'm going to stop that. Now, how have my reading tastes changed, you might ask, which I would say to that, great question. I have been taking time, I want to say. I have so many books that I have really wanted to read, but I've been too intimidated by them because they're too big, or I know there's something that is going to be time consuming for me. And because of that, I just keep on putting them off in favor of short, quick reads, because I've been so, I don't want to say obsessed, but like I've challenged myself. I put pressure on myself to be constantly reading and to be always reading a lot. And part of that is existing on the bookternet, if you will, because I'm always talking about books and I'm always looking for new recommendations for you guys. I'm always trying to read as much as possible, because I have gotten this comment so many times in the past, and it's taken me a while to let it roll off my back, but people get annoyed when you repeat the same books, and I understand, but in the same token, I'm only one human being and I can only read so much. So there kind of came a point where my reading and what I was choosing to read wasn't about me anymore. It wasn't just a personal decision, it was also about other people, and it was about trying to read as much as possible so then I can constantly have new recommendations and constantly be telling you guys about new books. But as I've gotten this new job and as I'm kind of pulling back on videos a little bit, I feel like I've realized quality over quantity is really a mantra that I want to be following in my life, and that means in regards to videos, but also in regards to my reading. So those books that I've been very interested in, but I know that they're going to take me a while to read, I want to feel like I can actually read read them. And I will be doing a video shortly where I actually show you guys some books that have intimidated me that I haven't read yet. So stay tuned for that. It will be like this week or next week. I'm not entirely sure. But a big thing with that is adult books. Not all of them, but there are definitely some adult books that I've been interested in and I just haven't gotten to yet. And fantasy, I'm not like, I think the biggest change from when I started my channel is my taste in fantasy. And I realized that it's not my favorite. It is something that I enjoy. I mean, I'm reading one right now that I'm really liking, but I definitely have so many and I'm kind of like, I don't think I'm actually ever going to read this one. I think I've kind of moved past that. So I have a number of YA fantasies that definitely are kind of on the chopping block in this video, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it took me a while to realize it's okay if I just want to read a million romance novels in a row. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that because, once again, I very much feed off of other people's opinions, can you tell? But I would have people getting annoyed and saying like, I miss when you used to read fantasies. Then I was like, oh, I guess I should try and read more fantasy. And I'm definitely not saying that I'm not going to read fantasy anymore, but it's something that I think I'm going to just like focus on the ones that I'm really excited about, because there are so many and they sound great, but it's also very oversaturated, and I know that it's kind of, it takes me a little bit longer to pick up those books. So I feel like I should focus on prioritizing the things that I've really been enjoying, which namely has been contemporary and not just romance, but romance has definitely been a big part of that. Like adult romance I've been super into, but there's also been some books, and I think part of my changing reading taste, like I said, I'm a different person than when I started this channel. I was in my first year of university when I started this channel, just started falling in love with reading, and I loved YA, and I still love YA. I don't think that I will ever not love YA. Like, I'm obviously older than the target audience for it, but I don't care. Like, it is still something that I enjoy reading. However, I've taken a chance on some books that are a little bit more out of my comfort zone and realized that I do want to start reading a little bit more adult books. And I think part of that is also with the new job that I have. A lot of my coworkers, they're reading mostly adult books, and they'll be like hyping up all these books, and then it gets me excited about those books. So I find my tastes have kind of been veering a little bit more in that direction. And I've really started to figure out what it is that I personally want to read. I know this video might seem a little bit all over the place, but so is my reading taste, I think, is what I've realized. Like, I can't just be bogged down with one particular kind of book. I like a little bit of everything, and I will continue to like and continue to read a little bit of everything and continue to go wherever my mood takes me. And I just want my bookshelves to be, instead of like, honestly, I get asked this a lot of the time when people come over and they see my bookshelves in person for the first time. They're like, do you ever get intimidated or overwhelmed by it? And honestly, yes, sometimes I do. So I really want to focus on making sure that my bookshelves are a space of inspiration that keep me wanting to read instead of being something that's overwhelming. I will still have a lot of books. I still obviously, like, that's just who I am as a person. I still love all books, but I just want to be kind of realistic. And I hope that makes sense. And I essentially, nothing's off the table. As much as my reading tastes have changed, there's a lot of things that like are still the same, but I'm kind of expanding it. So essentially in the future, I'm planning on doing a couple of reading vlogs where I read some out of my comfort zone reads to further kind of explore this new experimental style of reading that I've been doing. So I'm really excited about that. But to start it off, I think we need to go through my shelves and kind of be honest. I'm gonna like take it slow. I will do this again in the future because honestly, I'm kind of in just a purging mood right now. As I'm looking at my shelves, I'm like, you can go, you can go, you can go. But I don't want to take it to the one extreme and then like I'll regret it and not have these books anymore. But I am going to take a good look at my shelves and see what I want to get rid of. So let's go and do that. Okay, so we have a lot that we're working with here. So I don't even know where to start, to be honest. I'm definitely not going to do all of this in one video. So if you would be interested in a part 2, definitely let me know and I can do that for you. But I'm just going to kind of take a first look and see what I want to get rid of. So first of all, Stolen Songbird by Danielle L. Jensen. I was going to read this one. I was going to unhaul it, but I think that it is like I can actually get rid of this one. Part of the thing is that one I bought myself, so that's not really a good example, but actually this is also in that series, The Broken Ones by Danielle L. Jensen. But part of the thing is I'll get these books sent to me, so then like I feel an obligation to keep them for at least a little bit of time. I feel bad if I get rid of them right away, but then they just end up taking up space on my shelves. So I'm trying to like get myself to just get rid of them right away if I know that realistically I'm not going to read them. But I'm really not just looking to get rid of fantasy. Like there's definitely other books that I know I'm not interested in that I can get rid of, but fantasy is kind of the main thing. So this Unhooked by Lisa Maxwell, I've heard some pretty good things about it. It's a Peter Pan retelling, but I just don't think ultimately I'll read that. Obviously, if like you really think that I will like any of these books, let me know and then I will change my mind. Maybe, not like guaranteed, but there definitely is that possibility that could happen. This one is an adult fantasy, and honestly, I don't think I'll read it. Like I'm just kind of picky. Is this good? I haven't really heard anything about it. And I read one other book by this author and I wasn't the hugest fan. So I think someone else might like this one more than I would. So I will set it aside for now. I guess I'm kind of like, I love retellings, but I'm kind of a little bit more picky with them now, if that makes sense, because I'm also gravitating toward The Shadow Queen by C.J. Redwine. I kind of want to get rid of. I've had it for quite a bit and haven't ever really wanted to pick it up. So will I ever want to? I don't really think so. Historical fiction, definitely want to keep. Like that's still something that I enjoy, but I think I am going to let go. Where is the first book? It's somewhere over here. Here we go. The Prosper Redding books by Alexandra Bracken. I don't think I'm going to read them. I've had them for forever and it's just not going to happen realistically. This is so much more intimidating than I was expecting because honestly, I just don't know where to start. Like I don't know what to get rid of, what to keep, because I want to take a chance on everything, but at the same time, I just need to accept that I'm just not going to be able to read everything, which is why I want to kind of get rid of things. Actually, maybe I'll do a try a chapter tag with some of these books, because if you guys think that they might be things that I would like, then we'll see. Okay, I just went and grabbed these ones from the black shelf over there, but I think that these ones are going to be ones that I'm not actually going to read. So we have Forest of Souls by Lori M. Lee. This might be cool. It's about like necromancy. Well, I don't think it's necromancy specifically. Is it necromancy? I think it is. I don't know. But if you've read this one and it was good, let me know. I could be persuaded for any of these, to be honest, which will then just leave me at the same spot I was where I started, but oh well. Beneath the Citadel by Destiny Soria. I read the first book by this author. I liked it, but I don't know. And then Cast in Firelight by Dana Swift. I kind of just ordered this one because the cover was really pretty, which is something I'm definitely very guilty of and trying to stop. So that's another one I don't really know all that much about, but that is the case for so many of these books. Trying to get like a good feel of what we have here. The Great Unknowable End. This one is technically, I think, a historical fiction, but it's set in Kansas, and someone did say that this was a good book, so then I kept it because I was thinking of unhauling it, but I think I just need to let it go because it's not one that I just wanted to pick up. This is another one I've actually had for a very long time, and I don't think I'll read. Bonecryer's Moon by Catherine Purdy. I've had the ARC and just, I haven't wanted to pick it up, and I just don't see myself. Like, it's just a feeling, you know? And I don't have the feeling that it's actually going to happen. That's what I'm going off of right now. The Upside of Falling is actually another one that I was going to get rid of, and then I decided to keep, but I'm just gonna get rid of it. The Looking Glass by Janet McNally. I'm never actually gonna read that. I've had it for a long time. Uprooted by Naomi Novik. I'm not sure. I tried another book by this author and I've included that one on actually so many TBRs, but never actually read it. But if you guys think that it's something that I would like that's definitely one that I could include in that video where I read books that are kind of out of my comfort zone. Could definitely do that. I don't know where else, like what else to get rid of, just because I struggle with decision making so aggressively. I think for now, that's good. Like, that's a solid start. Let's see what we got rid of. This is a pretty good stack of books. Like, I got rid of quite a few there. So definitely, like, I can do another video where I go through before the video and show you guys what I decided to get rid of, because then I'll kind of have time to think about things a little bit more and go from there. But also, if you wanted me to do a try a chapter tag with these books, I can do that. See if any of them might be something that I would enjoy, or pick some other books that I can do that for, like ones that I'm not sure if they're still in my wheelhouse. But I would like to reiterate, like, I'm not saying I don't want to read fantasy at all anymore. That's not the case. I'm just saying I want to branch out and like read different things as well. Like, for example, and this is going to sound like the stupidest thing ever, but to me it makes sense. Something like Lessons in Chemistry here. It's definitely like, it's kind of a chick lit novel. It's a romance, but the cover of it doesn't make me think of that necessarily. The romances that I would read always had covers more so like this one. And I mean, it's not like that different, but what I'm saying is that I have been gravitating a lot more towards books like that. I don't think this makes sense at all, but it makes sense to me, okay? And like, I know no one else cares about what I'm reading this much, but this is just a video that I thought was fun to do and I really wanted to do, talking about kind of how things are changing and how I'm wanting my bookshelves to reflect that, how I'm starting to stabilize a little bit, and I have realized a lot of things over the course of that. So yeah, that's going to be all for today's video. Stay tuned. I have a lot more videos kind of like branching off of this topic, a little bit related to that will be coming up very shortly, so definitely look out for those. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in another new video soon. Bye! Actually, speaking of, if there's any like out of my comfort zone reads that you think I might enjoy, please let me know and I will look into purchasing them, because I think I might do a little book shopping video of books that are out of my comfort zone. So yeah.